Ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga is currently in Zimbabwe.
Thank you. I have come to Zimbabwe because Zimbabwe is part of Africa. And I've been touring Africa. As you know, I announced my candidature for the chair of African Union Commission. And in that capacity, I've been traveling the continent to talk to leadership. This year, my first call has been here in Zimbabwe. I'm going to visit other countries in the SADC region. And as you know, the president of Zimbabwe is also the current chair of SADC. That was really important to come to Harare. So we have shared experiences with my brother, President here. We know where we are coming from, and we know where we want to go. I'm just saying that Africa has got a bad future, but Africa will only be developed by Africans themselves. Foreigners only come to Africa to make money. They don't come to develop Africa. Africa will be developed by Africans themselves. We must have a clear roadmap and a blueprint how to develop Africa. We have got 55 states, countries in Africa. But we are looking to how these countries can be integrated so that we benefit from the resources that we have in our continent. Mentioned the issue of value addition to the raw materials that we have here, because Africa, as you know, is the richest continent on the planet Earth. The paradox is that the richest is also the poorest in terms of living conditions of its people. But we say that we can change this by doing value addition to the raw materials that we have on the continent.
And over the weekend, Raila Odinga attended some funeral in Bondo. And Raila Odinga said something which caught my attention. Raila Odinga appealed to the Luo community to remain united and even asked them to remain united despite the outcome of his bid, whether he's going to win or lose. And within ODM party, Edwin Sifuna made it very clear that they have firm and strict instruction from Raila Odinga to ensure two things. That number one, ODM retains its identity. And that number two, ODM party will produce a presidential candidate in 2027.
I can tell you for a fact, Trevor, at the end of the day, my responsibility is to put things on record so that history can record that I warned that this is something that would still hurt us as a political entity. And honestly speaking, if you look at the political dynamics in the country right now, it would be very foolish for ODM not to field a presidential candidate. It would be extremely foolish. If you look at the math, President Ruto was declared president by a margin of 200,000 votes. All Raila needs to do, all ODM needs to do is to keep all its constituencies. We have not lost any of our constituencies. Okay. He has lost almost half of his constituency in Mount Kenya. Okay. How do you then support somebody? How do you help somebody when you can help yourself? That is something that does not make any sense.
That's why I saw. Which begs the question, what is Raila Odinga's game plan after the African Union Commission election? For me, Raila Odinga has only two options. The first option is that after that election, regardless of the outcome, he's going to exit Kenyan politics. And the second option, which I think is under a lot of pressure, whether he wins or lose, is that he can come back into the country and contest for the presidency. And that's why he's making those appeals to the residents of Nyanza and indeed his supporters to remain united. And for me, that's a big political nightmare for William Samoei Arap Ruto. So in this video, I want us to do a critical analysis why William Ruto should actually be very careful about Raila Odinga, because Raila Odinga can actually decide to come back and contest or come back and decide to support someone else. But before we get into all those details, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, was it yesterday or yesterday by one, I did a video on this particular platform. I'll challenge you to go and watch it in case you missed it. In that video, I questioned whether Raila Odinga is silently withdrawing his support for William Samoei Arap Ruto's re-election bid. And because in politics nothing happens out of mere coincidence, after those developments in within ODM party, and I explained to you guys in that particular video that ODM members of parliament who used to accompany William Ruto to various political activities were actually asked to go slow a bit. And that is why William Ruto yesterday had to make this statement.
Na mkiombea serikali yetu, pia mkumbuke our friend, our leader, our elder Raila Amolo Odinga kwa ile maombi tunamuombea awe kiongozi wa bara letu la Afrika. Pray for him as you pray for the nation, because that position is not his. It is for the whole continent, and it is ours as a country.
But the biggest question is one. What is Raila Odinga's game plan? Because he's projected to win. But I've always told you that in any political contest, the outcome is normally two. You can either win or you can lose. Assuming Raila Odinga will lose, what next?
If he loses and comes back, what will the comeback of Raila have in the political space?
It'll be different. This is the first time when people are questioning him. Even his own supporters are questioning him. There were times when they used to say Raila Baba, Raila Mwana, Raila Roho Mtakatifu. And they used to do everything he said and in the way he said it at the time he said it. Right now I am seeing young people, even in Bunge la Mwananchi, coming out there, because I watch their proceedings. People may want to trivialize that thing, but it has its own followers. And they are saying, Baba, you shouldn't have led us to Ruto. I saw people who have supported him, like a young man who attended the anti-femicide demonstrations, and he was chased away just for following Baba.
What next? But let us not get into that for now. Let us focus on why the move by Raila Odinga, the signals he's sending, should worry William Ruto. Number one, William Ruto's game plan for 2027 is already very clear. William Ruto has ruled out in his strategy Mount Kenya, because Mount Kenya has gone, and Mount Kenya voted for William Ruto during the last election almost to a man. And Mount Kenya has the highest number of votes in the Republic of Kenya. So which means losing Mount Kenya is a very big blow for William Ruto, politically speaking. Which means for William Ruto to succeed, he must recover the loss of the mountain. But from where? Raila Odinga is his only hope. Because with Raila Odinga, he's assured of ODM support base. With Raila Odinga, he's assured of, the perceptual value. And of course, Raila Odinga is a very good campaigner. Now that Raila Odinga is sending mixed signals, it means William Ruto's strategy might force him to go back to the drawing board. Because the strategy for William Ruto is simple. Craft a kind of Western alliance. And once Western alliance is crafted and Raila Odinga wins, then they are going to organize massive celebrations to consolidate the Western alliance. Then they can go to coast and northern Kenya, where a lot of political activities will take place in 2027. So the challenge is, if Raila Odinga is not with the Ruto, can Western Alliance speak in one voice? And that's why I've always maintained that for William Ruto, he must do everything possible within his powers to ensure that Raila Odinga secures that seat. Because without Raila Odinga securing the seat, William Ruto is doomed. So that's why William Ruto should be worried, number one. Number two, you see, it's also sending wrong signal to Raila Odinga supporters. Let's face it, Raila Odinga shocked the entire country when he started working with William Ruto. It took a lot of effort for some of Raila Odinga supporters to even embrace the broad-based government. Some of them had now started going towards Ruto. Even members of parliament, people like Opondo Kaloma, Samatandi, they had already made their mind them that sisi sasa tuko kwa serikali. Then those signals are sent, and you even wonder where it's putting people like James Orengo, who were initially opposed to this broad-based government, but are nowadays supporting it.
Justice is done. Justice is done. And I want to say those who are in a rush to join Ruto, that Ruto is a passing cloud. I am saying that without a fear of contradiction. Because Ruto now has no money. Because he's been borrowing. And the Kenyans have told him, you cannot borrow. Ruto has said no taxation. But he said he is continuing to taxation. And he refused taxation through the finance bill. So he cannot tax Kenyans. Ruto has lost the confidence of the international community. So, where is Ruto going to take us?
Those wrong signals are hurting William Ruto. Because for William Ruto, he needs the assurance that Raila Odinga support base are with him. Number three, it will also slow down members of parliament, MPs. Number three, it will also slow down the senators, governors, MPs, women reps, MCS, ODM MCS, who had started moving towards William Ruto's side. I know so many of them. But now, Raila Odinga is telling them or sending signals that, please, I might come back. And they know that they cannot win minus Raila Odinga, some of these guys. So it means those who have started joining William Ruto will start slowing down. Because for William Ruto, something is very important, which brings me to my fourth point, which is perception. Politics, I've always explained to you guys, is a perceptual game. Real or perceived numbers. You must create the perception. So by Raila Odinga now slowing down, and you are seeing people dumping William Ruto's side, it could send a wrong signal to the country that William Ruto is losing the ground. And that's something William Ruto would not want to deal with right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.